Welcome to She Manifests Wealth Formula podcast. I'm Layla El Khadri, a master of subconscious mind, entrepreneur, and a creator of best-rated course on manifestation, wealth formula. With experience coaching 15,000 plus people, I have crafted a 15-minute formula to solve any problem, aiming to transform health, wealth, and relationships. In this podcast, I strive to showcase real-life transformation stories that bridge the gap from where you are to where you want to be. Let's manifest our lives together because nothing is impossible when we are the conscious creators of our life. Thank you for tuning in today, and let's begin. So, welcome to She Manifests podcast. My guest is Layla El Khadri, feminine leadership mentor, speaker, and author. So, Layla, please introduce yourself, who you are, what's your mission, what's your passion?
Thank you so much for having me here, darling. It's truly an honor to have a space to share my passion and my mission, which are the same, and is to help humans find the source of their creative power so that they can create a reality that they want individually and collectively. And the way I do this is by helping them find the power inside of them, find their creative and unique expression, and then turn that into a business. Because I believe that in a capitalist system, business is one of the most powerful tools to actually change the world.
Absolutely. So, Layla, I see you help women through their feminine power. And I'm going to start just out of the blue. We know that nowadays, women have been raised, to be very strong. And, there's even feminism and everybody wants to be equal. How do you think it's affecting actually the world and business by itself when you are in your masculine and everything else?
I love that you say you're going out of the blue, but I guess what you meant is like you're going straight into the fire, right? Like
I was feeling intentionally like, what is, because I see, I always check also energetically, and you are so feminine, you are so in your feminine power, and I guess that's why you are doing what you are doing, right? Helping women to find themselves.
I love it. I love because the question that you ask is actually a question that I'm burning to talk about more loudly and more publicly. And it is an unpopular opinion, what I'm going to share right now. But as much as I believe that the feminist movement has been important throughout history to give women voice and rights in many places where we didn't have it, I think that what has been done in the last 10 years with this feminist movement is what we call taking the pendulum a little bit too far. And this makes total sense. In history has happened, and in energy dynamics it happens, and in relationship we see it, and in development we see it, where if the pendulum goes to one side and we experience suppression of any sort, then the liberation is going to come as a pendulum that swing all the way to the other side. And we need to experience the opposite force to then find the balance. So I feel like feminism has really taken us far to the opposite side, where in order to reclaim our freedom, fight for our rights, and empower ourselves, we have overly developed our masculine side, which is the side that fights and is the side that empowers and the side that pushes through injustice and the side that moves forward, goal-oriented, single-pointed until it gets what it wants. And we've done it. Congratulations. We are walking in the shoulders of giants, our grandmothers and great-grandmothers who burned their breasts to get freedom and to get the right to vote, and every single woman and man who has fought for feminine rights and female rights. We did it. And now it's important to pause and realize that if we keep overstimulating the fight, and we keep overdeveloping the masculine, and we keep simultaneously identifying with the victim, because there is a part that in order to claim for the rights needs to prove or needs to speak of the victimization that not having those rights is generating. And this is true and it's necessary. But if we don't pause and realize that overly stimulating our masculine and simultaneously identifying with our victim is actually taking us more and more away from our true power. And we are more and more realizing that is the gap between us and the dream that we wanted to reach is actually not smaller. Paradoxically, it's getting bigger.
Always when I'm thinking about masculinity and femininity, I'm coming from Soviet Union country, and as you know, women are very strong. They're taking the lead, and we can even look back historically. There has been war, mothers have had to stay at home and take care of households while their husbands were taking care of, in the war fighting. So when I look at myself, then I realize that this part of masculinity and the strength is coming a lot from my mother and obviously from my grandmother, and it is coming from generations and generations. And when we are seeing this pattern of mom, who is a hero, and we are obviously most of the times we are taking and learning this pattern. And right now I'm thinking, what is the best way? Because it's not enough to realize, okay, so I'm masculine and I want to be more feminine, right? Because we know masculinity hurts. We need to have this balance in between. So as you said, the pendulum is mostly in this masculine side, in American market, in all this Eastern Europe and everything. What do you believe are the ways for the person or woman who is realizing, okay, I'm tired? Because obviously if we are in our masculine, we get tired, right? This is not the nature. It's not the mother nature. So how would you start this journey to go from masculine to feminine?
There's so many ways. And I have been doing this work for almost 15 years now. So in the process, I approach the feminine in many different areas. I got degrees in how to do it through the body, and I became a somatic therapist. Then I got degrees in how to do it through the mind, and I became a coach. And then I got degrees in how to do it through our business, and I became a businesswoman, and I developed my own marketing, branding, sales, and team system that I call Unique, which is business for women, business done the feminine way. So there is multiple entries, and we can explore different ones today in the podcast, and maybe we can do a second part of this podcast and explore more. And maybe, I also invite our audience to write us and let us know what other ways they would like to access. But maybe for today, we can choose one. And
Can I choose?
Go ahead, you can choose. Amazing.
Since I'm the mind architect, and something that I absolutely admire is the mind. I've been studying so much, so let's go with the mind.
Okay, beautiful. I was going to choose the body, so maybe we get to do both. Let's see. Beautiful. So it is interesting that you chose the mind as well, because traditionally, and it really, there's many traditions through where you can study the masculine and feminine polarity and dynamics. But if you look at, for example, the Eastern traditions, which are the ones I'm more grounded into, traditionally the mind is associated with the masculine, where the emotions are associated with the feminine. So the masculine is the masculine qualities and the masculine abilities develop the same way and operate the same way that the mind will operate. So it sets a goal, it creates structure, it calculates the way to approach, it has a goal-oriented, structural, directional relationship with life. You could argue that we can also use the mind in a very feminine way, and we can use the mind through creativity, and we can use the mind through what's called horizontal processing. And in those aspects of the mind where the feminine is more present is where I will inspire us to start our journey of shifting into the feminine through the mind. So if you look at the polarity of masculine and feminine, and I am sure most of our audience already know this, so I'll just glance over it. We can put three distinctions. One of them is masculine is directional, where feminine is more circular. Masculine is goal-oriented, where feminine is more process-oriented. Masculine is more structural, where feminine is more flow. And so if you look at what the mind, how your mind operates, and how you are utilizing your mind in your everyday, for example, in the decision-making process, then you can observe already what part of your polarity is coming stronger. When you have to make a choice, for example, are you looking at the choice? Your mind is asking first the question, how do I feel? Mm-hmm. Which will be a more feminine question. Or is it asking, what's going to get me faster there? Which mm-hmm. is a more masculine question, right? Mm-hmm. Is your mind doing a list of pros and cons, which will be a more masculine way of making a decision? Or is your list exploring all the possible options without still labeling them, just to understand them?
Layla, while you are talking, coming up the question, have you always been in this feminine mostly? Or you have been historically in the masculine and then you realize that this is your calling?
That's a great question. First, I come from a culture where women are very masculine, and I had an upbringing that put me a lot in my masculine energy. So I was often told, you have a very strong masculine energy. The truth is, as strong as my masculine energy was, my feminine energy was. It was just the part of me that I wouldn't show. Mm-hmm. And this is also something for any woman out there that is asking herself, how can I be more feminine? You don't have to go buy more feminine or get more feminine. More feminine is within you. Wherever in your life you're overcompensating with your masculine, you are suppressing the feminine. Is coming in another way. So, for example, let's say that you're very decisive at work and operate from a really strong masculine. I bet you when you get home, you have really deep crashes in your emotion. Mm-hmm. Because all the emotions that you're not expressing at the workplace, they need to go somewhere. So it's never that you don't have feminine. It's never that I didn't have feminine when I was more in my masculine. It's that I was expressing more the masculine, and so the feminine needed to find other ways to express. And those ways, if I are not conscious, can be disease, depression, anxiety, and I had all of them.
Absolutely. So tell us about your worst story when you realized that you don't want to be in your masculine anymore.
I don't know that I mean, I remember having in the beginning of my time in Bali, a girlfriend of mine giving me the feedback one day, like, oh, Layla, you're so harsh. Mm-hmm. You're so harsh when you talk. You're so harsh when you communicate. And I remember that conversation being so painful for my heart, because internally I felt so feminine and I felt so soft and I felt my essence. But somehow the way I was communicating was coming across very masculine. And at the time I was running a dance company, and I decided to, it was a laboratory of artistic exploration. And it was a group of dancers and movers and artists that would take a concept and we would explore this concept artistically for many weeks, and then we would create an art piece to express it, right? And so I because I was leading the company, I got to choose the topic for the next piece, and I was like, okay, this is going to be the feminine. This is going to be an exploration of what does the feminine mean? How does the feminine speak? How does the feminine feel? How does the feminine listen? And that became a video piece that was watched by millions of people around the world,
Tell me what
which
was
is the
there,
feminine.
how they speak, how they feel. Tell us all this multi-million views video.
Well, you can find the video. It's called The Feminine Rise. It's in YouTube. And the video is an art piece. So it's a metaphorical it's a metaphorical expression of what we found, right? So you will see many dancers embodying different energies and different movements and different colors. But what I can say is, as I moved through every one of these concepts, first we understand them in the mind, right? Which was your desire. So we now realize there's a difference between the masculine and feminine, and that we can switch the modes. Like the mind is the one in charge to switch the mode. And then we allow the new mode to become an emotion that then we experience in our body. So that's what I would do with the dancers. So for example, we took the quality of the feminine of receiving. The feminine is receptive, where the masculine is providing. Even if you look at it in the sexual organ, right? The masculine goes in and the feminine receives. Mm-hmm. So embodying the feminine meant embodying the energy of receiving. So we explore a lot of somatic movements, a lot of movements with the body that will allow us to receive. And in the process of that, I understood, holy bananas, I am not receiving in my life. The universe keeps pouring on me love and attention and money and invitations. And there is this part of me that like won't receive in many different ways.
How did that show up in your behavior?
It showed up that I will, for example, get a sponsorship for a project and work 7 times more than I was supposed to, because I was not able to receive that I was being sponsored for my art. I needed to like still prove myself. Or it would look like I will get invitations from men, or I would get gifts from followers or clients, and sometimes be able to receive them, but not feel fully like you can take something and say, yes, thank you, but you're not truly receiving it. Sometimes not even be able to receive it. Compliments, for example. And this is so important in the case of abundance. A lot of the times, I find with my clients that they say they don't have enough. And when we explore their lives, the universe is trying to provide in so many ways, but because it's not the way that they want it, they're not allowing it in. Mm-hmm. So this was one of the energies that I embodied through that process of the video. That was really, really powerful.
What did you do when you realized it? What were the steps? 1, 2, 3. Because you see, anyway, we can speak about it, but at the end of the day, people want the formula. You know what I mean? They were like, okay, how can I embody my feminine? What can I do on the daily basis? And as I said to you at the very beginning, for me, I've been working a lot with my feminine part because, my mom is super strong and I didn't even know what is feminine, from my family. And I don't judge her, but at the same time, I see that it was harming my relationship with my husband, right? Because I always wanted to take the lead. I always was controlling, and not even consciously, subconsciously, just the behavior. And it would be like, no, 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 I don't want to be in the control. But at the same time, I was like just taking too much because I learned this from my mother. I didn't know how is it differently. You know what I mean? I had to fight for my life from the very beginning. I didn't have anybody who was providing for me. And it just became as a behavioral pattern. And now it's always kind of back and forth, and it's not that I don't want to be more in the flow and feminine. But when in the business, like I have 8 employees, a lot of things, and just the structure keeps going, and it's very hard to switch there at those moments where there is fight or flight moment, right? Then it's a very magical task, I believe so.
Yeah. And look, I understand, and I am going to give you a formula that I will
We love
craft in the moment so that whoever is listening and is in the same seat that you are can have that. But before I give you that, I'm going to say, trying to reduce the feminine to a formula is a masculine approach.
Mm-hmm.
And just if we observe that, just if we realize, oh my God, the pattern is the pattern that I embody, what is creating the reality. If I am already wanting a formula, means I want to get to a goal in a series of steps as fast as possible. I put the as fast as possible myself.
I didn't mean like as fast as possible, more like what are the steps that I can do on the daily basis so that I can embody and be more in my feminine. So it's not about the speed, it's not about the goal, but more about the process. You know what I mean? Like, what is it that I can do on the daily basis so I can even shift myself from this masculine moment when you need to fight and structure to the feminine one, especially when your family comes home.
Yeah, totally. And I just want to start saying I feel you and I hear you. And I myself sometimes just want the formula. But it is really important that we pause here, as uncomfortable as it might be, because this is when we can really give something powerful to who is listening. What steps can I do is again a masculine approach. There is no steps in the feminine and there is no doing. The feminine is a state of being, and it's the state of being that comes from within. So what does come from within today is the step that you need today. The moment you shift into that, you shift from following steps to listening inside, and from doing to being. Mm-hmm. It is extremely uncomfortable for us, powerful business women. Believe me, I also have a team of employees and I have a bunch of clients, and I know. And
okay,
this feminine magnetism that you feel, that it makes you invite me here, that, oh my God, is a treasure that I've worked with for 10 years. So I'm also very humble. This can only be alive because most of the time I am tuning in how I'm feeling, what's coming from within, what is truly authentic. And then from there, and I finish with this thought, from there, I do have mastery. I do have the ability to move because I still have a masculine side that is going to get to 6:30 today to do this podcast with you. And it's going to get here with some cute outfit, and it's going, you know what I mean? Like, so there is a driver inside, but that driver is already coming after I have addressed the being and the feeling. Does this make sense?
Kind of, but I understand it's about being and feeling. And this is something where you are tuning in and always asking yourself, not who do I need to, not what do I need to do, but more who do I need to be, right? But here's the, let's go back again to the reality. So I know if you're a business owner, and there are a lot of business owners, if we have the challenge and the problem, and let's say somebody can't pay the bills, and there are some months better and worse, or so in that moment, obviously somebody will say, I need to find a way. How can I be at this moment? But why I need to find a way. So there is a feminine, right? Where who do I need to be? How can I be grounded, connected? And at the same time, there is also a question, what do I need to do so that I change the situation? Do you see what I mean? Like there are these both sides. Is this something that you are trying to say?
Yes. The only difference I will make is not who do I need to be, is who am I now? So let's say, let's use your example, yeah? We have a businesswoman who can now pay the bills this month. And there's stress, there's financial stress.
Mm-hmm.
So step number one of the formula is pause everything. Remember, nobody's dying today. And feel, who are you? What are you feeling? Go in there. Most likely, within the first 10 minutes of this practice, you're going to break down crying because you're going to realize that your anxiety for the bills reminds you to when your dad could not buy you lunch back in the 90s, blah, 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 blah. You're going to get to the source of that. Create space to feel that. It doesn't have to be a huge drama of many hours, but create the sovereign space to feel that. As the energy is being felt, it moves alone through you. And when you allow yourself to be fully present with it, without getting lost in the dramatic story, just watching that little girl in 5th grade without her lunch because dad couldn't afford it, slowly the emotion liberates. You don't stay there for hours. It's a memory. Then as the energy liberates, now you start having real space to move. Okay, how can I hold that girl, let her know she's okay, and then move with the feeling? And here is where you're going to bring your masculine directionality, but you're going to stay in the feminine feeling. Because how can you move from that feeling anxiety back into feeling abundant, feeling powerful, and feeling worthy? If you are able to shift your feeling, there is nothing else that you really need to do. From that new place of feeling, the next idea that you have, the next email that you write, the next sales calls that you do is already going to bring a different result because it's coming from a different place. And we can really break this down to simple, 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 simple. You just launched a product. It didn't sell. The building of the funnel is done. The emails are there. The masterclass is recorded. There is nothing you need to do. Go into the process. Feel who you are all the way in. Allow the feelings to be processed and then move that feeling into the queen that's here to serve the world with that level of confidence, and then go out again. You don't need to do anything new, but you will collect a different result.
I think I got it. If we speak about the frequencies, right? Also being in the feminine, because what I'm doing usually, I'm always like past few days, I wasn't able to meditate. And I meditate a lot, right? My formula, which you're saying there is no in feminine formula, but it is the part of it. It is having this meditation that is structured in structured in the way that now I'm hearing it.
I love that we can laugh at ourselves. This is a really important quality.
So the meditation is actually that is helping me to come back to myself, right? And in that moment, I don't think about feminine or masculine. My main idea there is, I need to hear myself. I need to connect with my intuition. Because this is the moment when all the thunders and all the roller coasters are happening throughout the day, when I can say I'm very happy there. So I'm raising there my vibration, and it's obviously because I connect with myself, with who I am, right? I'm being there.
Yeah. And every single woman is different. If you are a fiery Aries with a Sagittarian rising and you manifesting generator and you run a business, you being in your feminine, being in your authentic energy is going to look like a lot of energy and a lot of explosion and a lot of creativity. Yes. And if you're a dreamy Pisces like myself with a, I'm going to make it up, but because I do have a lot of fire too, but with a Cancer moon, or you're a projector, or whatever, or you're in a phase of your life with different energy, your full feminine is going to look much more motherly or much more slow. There is no right or wrong expression for as long as you're in the being.
Okay. So, Layla, what is the hardest moment of your life where you can say, you know what, that was a really low point for me, if I'm honest?
Last year was really tough.
Why was it?
I went through a breakup,
Mm-hmm.
and my partner left around March, so it's going to be a year now. Left for a work trip that then became I need some space, that then became I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about getting engaged, and suddenly he wasn't sure, and we were supposed to meet again in the States, and he decided to go to Costa Rica. And for many months, there was no closure, and there was this ripping apart of my heart, while simultaneously my business partner decided to go on a new adventure and basically left the company. And my best friend and collaborator of the last program that we had sold, but we hadn't started, went into a personal process of her own and also left. So I was left by my partner, my best friend, and my business partner within the span of 3 weeks, with a sold out program with 20 something women ready to start. My partner left me on a very expensive villa with a lot of expenses to cover for. It was bad.
So, Layla, in that bad moment, what were you doing?
I went all in into the process. The first thing is I shared with the women. So I went to teach the program because I show up. And the first call, I let the women know what was happening. And I told them that we were going to do together, because the program was about creativity and bringing your muse, that we were going to go together into the death, into the descent. And I found out that all of them had in their lives a part of them that was dying. So we died together.
Mm.
And it looked like being very vulnerable and very messy and very okay with it.
So
Yeah.
you're all able to go through the process with all participants of the program.
Pooling. And I created 3 new chapters for the program that are called Going into the Descent. So I actually created content out of that.
Mm-hmm. And I guess,
Yeah.
Layla, if this is also speaking about life. Somehow, when it happens, all the things together, right? And I don't know how about you, what you do, but for me, the teachings of the most hardest times have been always just give up the control and trust that this is exactly what's supposed to happen, because you know how we want to get attached to this partner, get attached to this business partner, get attached to this, the person and everybody. And then the thing happens, and it usually, I don't know how about you, but my learnings is always, and what I've learned through very, very low moments, just Lena, surrender, give up the control, and sometimes the life hits so hard that I cannot even move anymore. This like so hard, because my how to say natural ways, I go and fix it. What do I need to fix? What do I need to do? But it hits me more and then more and then more. And I'm like, okay, I'm giving up. God, now I cannot do anything. Just I'm surrendering.
Yeah. And it's so paradoxically love, because simultaneously as you let go of the control and you let go of the it's almost like you let go of the control while you become more of the creator.
Yes. Because
Because
don't force and you don't fight, because you are going with the
exactly,
flow.
Exactly. So I let go of the control. I let go of trying to fix this relationship. I let go of trying to have my business together. I let go and I just be. And I be so fiercely and so authentic that my being is creating. Because I created a new program out of this being. So this is the shift. This is the creating from the feminine. And now we're talking about creating from the feminine in the case of a breakup, right? Or a moment of life that's painful, but it's the same. Can you let go of the control and create from the joy? So I'm getting to know you now through this interview, and I see that you're very powerful and very fiery, right? You probably get in the office in the morning and you're ready to lead your team, right? If you can just let go of the control and let that energy create, because your energy is already so powerful, and probably the control is making it create slower and with less results. I made a total assumption of you, by the way, but it was a good projection to explain what I wanted.
I'm searching you. It depends, right? Because and also I've seen, if I'm not there leading, that I see that team is kind of setting back and they're really relying on me. But I agree with you. I could be so much, how to say, more in the flow. But it's just the way I am. If there's a problem, I'm fixing it. If there's a problem,
But
what is the way? And I'm empowering and motivating the people. And I think it's like it's always about the balance. You know, there are some moments when you are in your feminine, when you let go, and some moments when you are in your power. No?
absolutely, absolutely. But when you say you could go more with the flow, I actually don't mean it that way. I mean that you being in the feminine, probably in your personality, looks like empowering and looks like supporting and looks like showing up for your team and looks
And
like nurturing.
nurturing.
That is super
Yeah,
feminine.
yeah, because
It's
this
the
is
part of you.
power.
That is your power. It's the part of you, if you have it, I don't know. Again, I'm just using you as an example. Is the part of us out there to say that wants to control the team, wants to control the outcome, wants to control, wants to impose, wants to push faster, wants to set boundaries and structures that are constraining. Of course, we need a healthy level of masculine. But if we turn that to the too much masculine, to the toxic, is those parts that are actually slowing us down. Because with your natural flow, tuning into your energy, you will be nurturing and you will be empowering and you will show up in the team and like cheer everybody up, which will get better results than showing up in the team and being like, you haven't made your matrix. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know this is not about me, but I'm sure a lot of women can get this lesson from here. So if they realize, okay, I'm too much in my masculine, how they can be. So you said the first step is kind of mind, realizing it. What do we do with our body? Is it like a dancing? Moving the hips, because I'm the dancer, right? So dancing is okay for me. What do you suggest? The women who is like, okay, I'm too much in my masculine. What can I do to get back to my feminine?
Beautiful. Thank you for getting to the body. It's my favorite part of the process. So dancing, of course, but don't try to dance freely. I mean, any dance is good because it's getting you in your body and in your feelings, right? But if you can go to ecstatic dance, for example, you can go and put your music in your living room and move freely, right? Instead of maybe trying to follow bachata steps or salsa steps or a choreography, just let your body move freely. Everything that allows you to break the structure. I actually have created a beautiful somatic practice. I worked in developing this practice for 8 years. And I want to offer it this is a complete spontaneous moment. I hope it's okay with the policy of your podcast.
Of course.
But I want to offer it to your audience as a gift. So maybe you let them know how we can do this, or where can they tell you, but I would love to send them a recording of this practice, because being a somatic therapist and having studied how to approach the feminine and how to approach transformation through the body, what I have done is I have isolated certain sets of movements that have certain triggers in our nervous system and in our neurology, in the way our brain chemistry works. And so, particularly for this one, I have sets of movements to get more into your masculine, and then I have sets of movements to get more into your feminine. So particularly the feminine ones, what I will inspire the woman to do and how I will guide her is through moving into spirals, moving into circles, moving into the physical embodiment of the energy of the feminine. If you look at the feminine body, the uterus is round, the boobs are round, the vagina is round, it's all round, yeah? The masculine, again, is direction. So if you're wanting to bring into your somatic awareness the essence of the feminine, then moving your body in patterns of circles, of spirals, and moving from the experience, not from the goal, not how it looks on the mirror, but how it feels inside. Close your eyes.
I love ecstatic dance. It's like, I think this is the key, because when you go to any dance class, you need to learn the steps, and you're again in your masculine, right? Because you need to do the right. But if you are just in the flow, we want this. How long is the dance? Is this the video or audio?
It is a video and audio practice. I am building them in 33-minute chunks. So there is a 10-minute warming up, a 10-minute pick, and a 10-minute where we bring the mind back in, because that once the body is awakened and alert, then we start bringing the specific mental patterns to lock into the body.
Okay.
Once they have watched me one time or two times, you don't have to do it with me every morning. You can just have me on your headphones, because I guide it for you.
Amazing. So everybody who is listening, this amazing gift from Layla, you're going to send me to, firstly, you need to follow Layla, you need to follow me, and you send the message to my Instagram account, and you say, Layla Dance, and we're going to send it back to you. So we're going to just send. But you must follow both of the accounts, and you're going to give the gift.
Beautiful. Yes, it will be
Layla,
my absolute
what is
pleasure.
your wealth formula? Tell me, since we are talking a lot about manifestation, and my signature course is called Wealth Formula, just because where I help people to manifest their life. I'm all about having a beautiful family, peaceful heart, harmonious life, and the wealth in materialistic world. What do you believe from your perspective is this wealth formula, even though you don't like the word formula?
No, I love the word formula. Don't get me wrong.
Structure.
I love my inner dude. My inner masculine saves my ass several times a day, believe me. So the question is, what is my wealth formula?
Yeah, and how people through femininity can manifest whatever they want. How you manifest through your femininity. What do you do? So you have this, I don't know, some desire. What do you do to attract it? A man, money, I don't know, car.
It is a combination of many things. And I know that in this podcast, we really want to give something that people can work with. So I'm going to choose one thing. But I want everybody to know that you cannot manifest if you don't have a balance of masculine and feminine. That just manifesting through your feminine, it's not sustainable.
So the
really
not working.
Huh?
The Secrets movie is not working. It's more about masculine. The movie, The Secrets.
Yeah. The movie The Secret kept one piece secret, which is feel it. But then Joe Dispenza came and brought it. So all the information is available, right? Yes. So I'm going to choose one piece of my wealth formula that I feel that it can inspire people to turn up the volume. But it's important if you have a business. I'm going to talk about magnetism, the way I attract, the way I produce results, the way I get my wealth in place, the way I've been in business for 10 years, the way I sell out my programs. I turn up my magnetism. However, I can turn on my magnetism a million times, but if I don't have a good funnel, if I don't have good copy, if I don't have a good system in place, I'm not going to catch the dollars. So this is very important that we know, yeah, that we have both. One thing that you can turn on is your magnetism. And how do you turn on your magnetism? You need to understand that everything is energy and that you will magnetize to you the frequency that you are holding. So if you are holding lack and anxiety, you will magnetize to you lack and anxiety. If you are holding envy, you will create envy. If you are holding pleasure, openness, radiance, curiosity, you walk in a room feeling pleasure, enjoying being you, being curious about the world, having an open heart, you're going to magnetize to you attention, looks, courtesy, invitations. And I know that if you're watching this in the video, there could be a thought that crosses your mind. Oh, that's easy for her to say. She's gorgeous. Yes. And it works regardless of how you look. So I have been coaching.
The magnetism.
You enter the room feeling, thinking, and radiating that which you are wanting to magnetize. So if I enter a room where I want to magnetize respect, authority, for example, I'm going to enter the room feeling respectful, respecting myself and respecting everybody around. And I'm going to walk in the room with authority, feeling my authority. Then I am going to magnetize to me respect and authority. That is the secret of magnetism, is that everything is energy, and the energy that you radiate frequency-wise vibrates and magnetizes the same energy. A good experiment for this is, I don't know if you were doing this when you were young in school, but in science class, we had this experiment where we had a bunch of crystal glasses, and you will wet your finger and pass it through around the edge, and it will do, and then all the glasses will vibrate in the same sound. This is the principle of magnetism.
Yes.
So if you vibrate abundance, abundance ripples around.
Absolutely. This is so beautiful, Layla. I am very grateful for your wisdom, for your beautiful femininity, and I want that people, and women mostly, learn more about it so that they embody it and realize that it's not about the pushing, it's about just feeling. And I like that you are somebody who is really walking the talk. When you look at yourself, as you can see, you are magnetizing, right? And there is this royal and queen's energy. So please tell how people can find you. Maybe you have something coming up, how you are working, if they're feeling a calling to work with you.
Thank you for the invitation, and thank you for the beautiful reflection. I receive it. The best way to follow me is on social media, Layla El Khadri, on Instagram, on YouTube, and on Facebook, but mostly I'm active on Instagram. So please follow me there. Choose my account as favorite so you see it. There has been some funky things with the shadow banning for women who use the word feminine, believe it or not. So I could not be coming up on your feed unless you favorite my account. I just learned this like short ago. And in terms of what can you be tuning in for, right now I have a few spots available in my yearly mastermind, which is a beautiful space for female entrepreneurs that are wanting to scale to 6 and 7 figures, to bring their entire being with that, their magnetism, their femininity, their inner masculine, everything from their voice and their presence and their self-confidence to building the right funnels for their business or doing the correct marketing for themselves. It's an entire year, and it's a mix between one-on-one mentorship and a group mastermind and hours and hours of online content. They have access to all my programs. And if that is a big investment and it's a big, it's a big commitment. If you're wanting to just nibble on what I do, I have master classes and programs, and there's a new program coming up called Presence, which is all about embodiment. So just stay tuned on social media and you will receive.
And we have a free gift, right? If you follow to me and Layla, and you send a message on Instagram, Layla Dance, then we're going to send you the gift. We will right away after this 30-minute dance practice, we will see how to raise the vibration and be more into our feminine. Thank you so much, Layla. I appreciate your time. And let's bring more femininity into this world. And it made me think more about how do I act and behave and feel on the daily basis. So it's a good reminder for me as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, darling. It's been a pleasure to talk with you.